Welcome to our first ever Goldbug Media Network podcast. Today we have guests Mr. Jeremy Brashears and Dr. Vicky Nighswonger. Our guest host today is going to be Mr. Willie McClure, and I am Chris Eckhardt. Welcome to our guests. Would you guys please introduce yourselves for the audience?
I'm Dr. Vicky Nighswonger. I'm the high school principal.
Hey, good morning, Chris. I'm Jeremy Brashears. I'm the superintendent.
Very good, very good. So tell us a little bit about the school year so far. How's it been for everybody?
Well, it's been an interesting year. You know, it's been a year that has had a lot of changes. It's had a lot of transitions. It's not always a bad thing. It's just that sometimes those transitions came at an inconvenient time. We had some late resignations. We had a couple of teachers leave us late, and so posting those late was kind of a challenge for us. We were not able to find position or people to take those positions, so we've had to kind of move people around and make some adjustments, and so that's been a bit of a challenge. But at the same time, when we talk about the challenges of the school year, we talk about the growth that comes with those challenges, and it's not necessarily a bad thing to go through a little bit of hardship, a little bit of challenge, and to be able to just say I was able to survive that. We came up with some great solutions, and everyone has been amazing at pitching in and making sure this has been a fabulous year.
Very good, very good.
Yeah. Chris, I started here July 1st. I was hired in April, so I haven't even completed a full year yet. It's kind of been fast and furious since April.
Yeah.
Even before we got moved over here, but Alva's a good place, and we have a lot of good things going. Like Dr. Nighswonger said, there's been some challenges, late resignations, and a nationwide teacher shortage didn't help. But Alva's weathering the storm really well on that front, and it's just been a good place to be.
All right.
So, are there any new programs or initiatives that you have truly made that have truly made a positive impact?
I don't know if I would call it a program or initiative, but I think one of the things that has recently made a positive impact is having our inspections dogs come through, our safety inspection dogs last week. It's something that hasn't happened in years. We were able to spend some time with the handlers, and they were able to go through some different things that we see or they see in schools, and things that are THC based or even mushroom based, which I didn't know that was a thing. To me, that's just so weird, but we were able to see the differences between a THC vape and a nicotine vape, which, wow, I had no idea there were those kind of differences. The products that THC is now being marketed to kids, which just makes me crazy to think that they're not marketing this to adults. Adults are, if they wanted a medical marijuana card, they would get that, and it would be pretty straight up. When you're looking at it being in cookies and chips and things that look like a typical snack, it's with the intent of getting kids hooked on THC and other drugs. And we can say THC is not a gateway drug, but come on, let's really be honest here. When talking with those handlers, is saying, never have they, because they're police officers, never have they seen someone who was a heroin addict that didn't start with marijuana. And I'm not saying every marijuana user is going to end up as a heroin addict, but why take that chance? There are other ways to go about releasing that stress, and other products that can be used, or even other methods, whether it be counseling or exercise or whatever. But that having those inspection dogs come through, they hit on things that we never would have thought of. They looked in places we never would have thought of and found some things, and it was pretty fascinating. And so they showed Mr. Beeler, our assistant principal, and I kind of what we need to be looking for, and that was a valuable time. So I look forward to them being back.
Good. There's been several things this year. we've had a big focus with our athletic department on team culture, that kind of thing. Working with students on that. Brought in speaker Bill Cordes that first spoke with seniors, and then the athletes. Then he came back a second day and worked with the teachers, and be back again this spring to work with the full student body. It's a project called the School Unity Project that he conducts and promotes. That's been a really positive thing. And I've seen several of our kids and even teachers carrying away some of those skills that he's teaching there. But probably the biggest thing I see, I don't know if I'd call it a project or an initiative or anything like that, but Alva's been known for 100 years in that neighborhood of being a symbol of excellence. I've got a brother-in-law that graduated from Alva, and the one thing that sticks with him is the Goldbug and that symbol of excellence. And sometimes I think we forget what that's supposed to look like. And I started asking that question, being from a neighboring school of Orange.
Of which shall not be named.
Of which shall not be named. And I remember that in high school being a rival. That
big time, yeah.
God, man, that Goldbug was in our face everywhere we went, And it's a really proud thing for the community. It's a really proud thing for the school and the students. Sometimes I think we forget what that excellence is supposed to look like. So I asked that question in August. I started asking with administrators and a couple board members things like, somebody tell me what excellence looks like. And here we are 7 months later, and I get these comments all the time. I'm hearing it in some of our principals' reports at the board meeting. I'm hearing it from a couple students. I'm hearing it from even people in the community. Like, I'll tell you what, excellence looks like this. And then they name something or speak of something that positive that our students have done. And I just think it's really awesome that we're focusing, or starting to focus on those positive things, because we get so dragged down with the rhetoric of education in our state. It just seems like a really positive thing that's going on.
So on that note, is there any academic, extracurricular student accomplishments or achievements that have really stood out to you both this year?
Gosh, I'll tell you what. There's a lot. I just talked about the symbol of excellence. Our one-act play goes to win state. What is it? 3 years in a row? 2 years in a row?
It's 2.
2
Okay.
years, but the third year they were second.
There you go.
They should have won.
That's true.
Yeah, there you go. So you got that. Even what we consider a subpar season for our expectations in Alva, another school may name the stadium after the guy.
Right.
I see our kids work really hard. We've got an FFA chapter that's restoring tractors. That's and if you know anything about the mechanics and all the things that go into that's a huge lift. It's a big accomplishment, just in and of itself. They're going to Texas to the Western Equipment contest,
and they're really proud of it too. They've shown me videos and pictures, and it's really impressive.
I just think the biggest thing with our students on this topic is we are excelling in multiple areas, from academics to fine arts to athletics. And we're not one of those schools that we're a basketball school. We're not that school. We're excelling in multiple areas, and that's providing an awesome education for these kids.
Good deal.
When we talk about a symbol of excellence, to me, part of that is perseverance. And academically, one of the things over the past, especially a couple of years, that I really am just so incredibly proud of is the number of kids or students who have maybe life didn't go the way they thought it would, and maybe they fell behind in credits. Maybe they had to step away from school completely for whatever reason, and were not able to finish like they had hoped. Those students, there are a couple of students that fit that description, that have caught up with their class, caught up with their cohort, graduated with their class, or they have caught up completely and were able to graduate 2 years after they were supposed to finish. And so they maybe stepped away and had to, deal with life for a bit, but they dug in, they came back, and they persevered, and were able to graduate. We have had a couple of other students that have just decided, you know what, they want to take their life in another direction and they want to graduate early. They dug in, got all of their credits, got all of their, all of their requirements, and were able to graduate early. And, the fact that we have kids that are willing to just work hard and do what needs to be done to meet those personal goals and to graduate, even after people had told them, well, it's not possible. Right. You'll never graduate now. But they have really persevered, and to me, that is a part of that symbol of excellence as well. It maybe gets challenging, life may get hard, but you don't give up, and you just dig in and work even harder.
Yeah, and it's great that we have those opportunities for kids that are non-traditional. Maybe they have some different paths, like you said, to take, and they're still able to be successful and ultimately graduate and move on with their next steps.
Right.
Gosh, Chris, on that, there's such a big discussion in our state about, they talk about school choice. It's always going to be a topic with the legislature, with our State Department leadership. We talk about all these different modes of education. Is it time for the public school to look at the education tracks, if you want to call it that?
Right.
Maybe it's time we get outside the box a little bit, and how can we service all of our students?
Right.
And put this question to bed. Do what's best for all of our kids, because kids learn in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. So, what are you most excited about for the remainder of the school year? What's on the top of y'all's head?
And don't say May.
We all think that.
Honestly, I was watching some of our seniors last night at the basketball game, and I'm going to miss some of those. And honestly, I feel like I'm going to miss the naughties the most. The ornerier the kid, I think they're the kid I like the best, and I'm going to really miss some of those. But
the spice of life.
Yeah. So what am we have so many great things going on. I mean, just the concept of a podcast. In past, we've had a radio show with our local radio station. That's always, to me, always been a lot of fun, but that's my background. As I went through college, I worked at a couple of radio stations and really enjoyed it. My first degree is in mass communications, public relations, and really do like this concept of being able to just get together and chat. So I'm excited about what our programs can come up with. It's not necessarily what I might think of, because it isn't about me. I am not the most creative person in this building, far from it. I love watching what our kids are doing. I love watching what our teachers are doing, all of those innovative programs, and all of the different things that will come out of that. So it's going to be great.
If the remainder of the year, it's really the same as it's been all year. It's been fun to watch the success of our students. And, Chris, I'd just say spring's coming.
Oh, yeah.
And if you know, you know.
I know.
All right? So, we've got track and baseball and speech and debate contests are going on. And FFA CDEs will be going on. Our kids are going to be super busy.
Absolutely.
And spring's coming. But what an exciting time to watch the successes of our students.
Right.
And I'm calling Dr. Nighswonger even this podcast is, we don't see this everywhere, and I think it's really awesome that the things that our organizations are doing, and the education that our students are having, and they don't even realize they're getting it.
Yeah. Are there any upcoming projects, changes we should anticipate, or tie those into your goals and hopes as we approach the next academic year? I know we're only in February, but are there some goals or changes that you want to see us? And you mentioned some of those things a little bit ago. So,
February is kind of the middle of the year, but when you're in administration, February is the beginning of next year. Mm-hmm. And we don't finish one year that we're not already planning and thinking about how is that year going to be structured, what's going to take place. So we're already looking at schedules, The other night, the calendar was adopted by the board, and so we know what next year's school calendar is going to look like. But with that, we're going to adjust our time. What time do we come to school? What time do we get out of school? And we're going to add a few extra minutes to our school day, but those few extra minutes are going to be used for what I refer to as intervention, a time where if you have a D or an F in a class, you're going to be going to this time. Mr. Brashears refers to it as encore time. I refer to it as win time, what I need. I need to go see Mr. Buckholtz because I am struggling in geometry, so I'm going to spend some time with Mr. Buckholtz getting that grade up and understanding that content. And so that is going to be a pretty big change next year, but it's also going to be a really important change because we're not just saying, okay, well, here's your grade, you got a D, good luck to you.
Right.
You have this for a grade, but that's not where it ends. We want you to learn this content. We want you to master this content. And so we're adding a little bit of time to our school day. In doing that, we are also going to be, we're changing maybe how the structure of the school looks, in that there's a lot of teachers, a lot of parents who think that all students should take semester tests. So if everybody takes semester tests, then you are actually practicing that content a little more. You are practicing sitting for a length of time so that you can take that test, and you are more prepared for the next level, whether that be college, career tech, or any kind of a trade school. You know, if you become an electrician, you've got a lot of tests you have to take to be able to get that license. So it doesn't matter if you're going to college, you're going to still have certification tests. And sitting for those tests takes practice. So we're going to be looking at that. We're going to be looking at our attendance. You know, we started this year with attendance policy of if you miss more than 9 days, you might not get credit for that class. And so that is going to be looked at even harder next year. So we're looking at some things that will help us to be able to enhance our academics, because that truly is who we are and why we're here.
Yeah, Dr. Nighswonger is 100% right. Every career, no matter whether it's college, doctorate level, bachelor's degree, a technical school, every career is going to have some kind of a testing system.
Right.
I've got several aspects to me. I'm a registered EMT, work ambulance some, or have in a former life. The hardest certification test of all of them, from teaching ag to math to the coaching stuff to superintendent, the hardest certification test I've taken was an EMT. That was a 16-week course through a technology center. You know, so there's so many career paths, and we've got to prepare our kids for those things. You know, but anyway, to answer that question, Chris, you brought up the C word. Change is hard.
Yep.
You know, but the one thing about life, there's one constant, and that is change. And as we mold and adapt to the changing society, education is going to change. There are some exciting things coming. I've already started talking to principals about some of those initiatives and things. I would like to see an education program, not only for our students but for our parents. You want to talk about change. Around 2010 or 2012, this thing called iPhone hit the market, and since then, computers are becoming obsolete. You know, there's more computing power in that iPhone than the desktop computers we had when we were growing up.
Right.
You're talking 256 gig on that phone, and my first computer is a 386 meg, right? So, if anybody remembers 386s with DOS.
Yeah, that's been a while.
Boy, we've come a long way. But with that comes a lot of traps, or I don't want to say negativity, but it turns into that. Social media is such a thing for our students, and it affects their psychology, affects the brain makeup even. And I'm not sure our parents really understand I didn't understand as a young parent the full impact of what that looks like. What's at the fingertips of that 10-year-old when you give them their first phone, and the things that they have access to on the internet. It's just scary.
Right.
So I like to develop that education program, start and educate young parents. You know, what do you expect as a pre-K parent, as your kid's 4 or 5 years old, and what influences you can see as they get older and come into this world. You know, and transition that into some character ed kind of stuff, you know, 4th or 5th grade, and then carry that through into middle school and high school. You know, social media safety, and cell phone or credit cards.
Yeah.
I'm getting probably 7 or 8 spam calls a day, text messages. You know, this is AT&T. We see suspicious activity. Can you confirm your account number? No, I will not confirm my account number with you. Right?
Yeah.
People fall for
Yeah,
that.
they do.
I've had my mom call me. She's 71 years old. Hey, have you seen this? Mom, don't click that, please.
Yeah.
You know, call them. So
Yeah.
those are some things I'd like to see
Okay.
as we move forward. Some new initiatives, if you want to call it that. So.
All right.
What advice would you give to students who wish to make a difference in their school community?
Get involved.
That's great. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
I think it's so important. We elect student council officers. We do all the things. Get involved.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I'd like to, as your superintendent, I would like to have a I don't know, quarterly meeting, monthly meeting, I don't know, with that student leadership. But I think that student leadership has to be. Let's elect our student leaders for their merit, not the popularity contest it
Right.
turns into sometimes.
Right. Well, we went
let's
to
get involved.
We went actually a few years ago for our student council officers. We went to an interview process. We bring in a panel of internal and external judges, and that's how they're elected.
That's awesome.
Because we weren't, we didn't feel like we were getting the right people in the right positions. So
There was I couldn't even remember. I can't tell you the contest was. If it was a canned food drive, something on Christmas, and we've got a couple principals that's going to be in a duck tank.
oh, okay.
Okay. I'm excited about that. I don't know about Dr. Nighswonger.
Well, I'm excited because it's not me.
There you go. That idea came out of a meeting with the student council officer. He came to Central, sit down. I got some ideas. What do y'all think? Can we do this? And I'm sitting there going, yes, you
Very
can do
good.
that.
All
That'd be
right.
awesome to dunk a principal in a dunk tank.
So we've really enjoyed having you both on here. We're going to kind of close out with the question, and it's open-ended. So, just what is one thing you wish more people knew about our school? Something that they don't see, something that happens that maybe doesn't get as much publicity or views.
How hard our kids work every day.
Yeah, that's great.
I feel like our kids are. They're in so many things. Yes, get involved, but truly get involved. Don't get involved just so that you have something to put on your resume. But they're kind of spread thin. Some of them are working in outside jobs, helping to support the family, helping to support themselves. They're working hard on their schoolwork. They're working hard, just to be good human beings. And I wish people saw how hard our kids work, because we got great kids here. Great kids.
She's exactly right. Mr. McClure's here this morning. Was here at about 10 after 7. I was sitting in my pickup eating a sausage and egg McMuffin. He's knocking on the door. Hey, can you let me in the building? Yeah. Kids don't always show up at 10 after 7 to do these things, so our kids work really hard. One thing I wish people knew more about our school, we want to hear from people. My door is open.
Right.
My cell phone's all over town. It's printed on my business card. So I probably am not answering the phone after 7:38 at night unless it's a known number,
Right.
But walk in and talk. I just talked about social media. I think one of the biggest struggles we have is we get on social media and we say things, we take opinions, and we do all this stuff, and we don't always know the whole story. And the other thing is sometimes we can't tell the whole story. There's privacy rights that individuals have and students have and things like that. So communicate with us. But one thing I wish people knew about our school, we're here for the community. We're here for our students. This isn't a personal gratification thing on any teacher's part. I've never known a coach or a teacher that was here solely for themselves. We're here to develop young people into successful adults. So come talk to us. I think that would be the message I'd want to get out there. Come talk to us.
Okay. Anything else, Willie?
I think that's going to wrap us up today. That was a
All right.
pretty good answer.
All right.
there.
Well, thank you both very much for coming on our inaugural podcast. We will have this edited and up on our YouTube channel and Facebook page later this afternoon. So
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh, no problem.
All right.